Hey everybody, welcome back to Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. I hope you're having a great day today. You guys have finally caught up to me. And what I mean by that is there's gonna be like a kind of a little PSA at the beginning of this video. So if you're just one of those people that are like, hey, play the game monkey, I don't care. If that happens to be you, timestamps down below. But I am gonna start this off with like a little bit of a PSA sort of monologue thing. You guys have caught up to me. So I knew I had like a 2-3 week period of time where I was not going to be able to record anything. And I just basically slammed this game. Patrons, members, etc. You guys can confirm this if you care to. I don't really think you need to, but in the comments, this game had like a ton of videos just stacked up, ready to go. There was a lot of stuff that was just prepared and like 25, 30 videos ahead. And that's because I knew I wasn't going to be able to record for an extended period of time. So I wanted to have daily releases for you guys for a while. And you guys have just simply exhausted that supply now. You guys have caught up, and that's just what happens. So for those of you guys who are new here, you just found me with this series or whatever, you probably don't have sort of a firm idea necessarily of like, sort of what this channel necessarily is about, or maybe like the tendencies or the history of how things work here. But this is not historically a daily release channel. I try my hardest to make it that way, to have a video go out every single day, but there are two things about me that you should probably know. And the first is that I'm a father of 2 small kids. And being as a father of 2 small kids, I don't exactly have the abilities that a lot of these younger guys do on the platform, or not even the younger ones, just the ones that decided not to have kids. I don't have the luxuries of being able to just be like, okay, well, I'm going to play games all day, every day, even though it's the summer and school's out. And my daughter is, getting close to 11 months old, so she's not going to school for a long time. So the point is, I've got a bit of a personal life. And that personal life is going to take priority over videos every time. That's pretty much a no-brainer. I don't need people to flood into the comments and say family first. I know that. The second thing you also need to know about me is that I like a lot of different types of games. And this channel is not a channel about city builders, even though the overwhelming majority of games that are on this channel, there's nearly 3,000 videos. The overwhelming majority of them are city builder genre games. And that tends to be, I guess, what resonates with the subscribers that I've managed to accumulate over the last 10 years of doing this. But that's not all I do. That's not all I'm interested in. And so it becomes kind of a little bit of a conflict with me when we get like a really cool game that's been released and I want to play that, but it doesn't do very well at all on this channel. In fact, for instance, Baldur's Gate 3 right now, I've started streaming that with a good friend of mine. And it's been a blast. It's been a very good experience playing that game so far. When it comes time to post videos here, I know what to expect. I know that it's not going to do nearly as well as this. I don't expect it to. I don't expect you to go out and watch it if you're not interested in it. But I did want to have like a little, like I said, a little PSA sort of moment here to just express a little bit of discontent with some of the new people that have come here. And I'm obviously not going to point out any names. I'm not going to single you out or anything. And, in every instance that I'm referring to here, comments have already been moderated out of here. But it is not okay, whether it's etiquette or there's just my preference. I don't really care. But it is not okay to go over to another one of my videos that you don't care for and to just blast me with, this isn't working, dude. Look at your views. They're terrible. Play the other game. Right? It is not good etiquette to make yourself out to be an ass by saying, I want you to play this, so you should do that regardless of what you want, creator. Okay? That's not how this works. You don't get to take down my fun factor in what I do for not even a living at this point. This channel makes about minimum wage, so I have other things I need to do to pay for my family, right? The truth is, I only do this because it's fun. I only do this while it's fun, and as soon as it's not fun, I stop doing this. Okay, so for the overwhelming 99.99 whatever percent You guys are completely fine. You're awesome. I love you guys. For the very small fraction of people who have decided that they are entitled to workers and resources every single day, regardless of, you know, what my needs are and what my desires are, you guys need to take a good close look at maybe what you know, tell other people, what you decide to go out and even in some cases cursing at me to other people just because you didn't get a video on this series for like 2 or 3 days. Okay, that's just uncalled for, right? All right, that's it. That's my little PSA. There is a little extra thing I did want to chive in here though for some of you guys who maybe know computers really well. And you know, we've been watching the tracks finish here while I've been talking about this because I just think they need to be done so I can do the signaling and everything. Because we're gonna do signaling today. The computer, right? I'm on the new PC, and the new PC has been pretty damn good aside from right now. The other thing that's caused me to have a little bit more of a delay in recording this series is because for whatever reason, this PC now is acting the same as the last one was. And it's making me think that perhaps I've got some kind of setting wrong. So for example, I'm currently on a 7950X 3D, 4090, 32 gigs DDR5 RAM. My whole system specs are on my About tab in my channel. You can just, you know, go to the About tab and then there's a little lazy little spreadsheet linked there. I don't know what I did, but when I first got this thing and plugged it in and turned it on and got everything installed and the chipset, the drivers, and all that updated with Windows 11, I went and loaded this game to get a performance idea. And then I linked that. I actually shared it on YouTube recently. So, you know, you guys might have saw that video where I was comparing the frame rates from Workers and Resources and comparing it with the new computer. And it was like locked at 120 frames per second. It was great. That is not happening anymore. I don't know what I've done in the interim, but I've done something. And whatever I did with the settings, and I've upgraded everything I can think of. I'm on the latest chipset drivers, the latest BIOS, all the drivers for my graphics card. Everything is turned on, Expo's on. I've done all the obvious Google it things, all right? And I can't understand why this game is no longer operating at the smooth 120 FPS that it was before. It is now operating pretty much right where the other piece, my old PC was. At the moment, right here, I'm getting 35 frames per second, almost 40. This is 40 frames per second right here. It doesn't make any sense that it would be 40 frames per second because I look over at my task manager and the game is using 8% of my CPU and less than 30% of my GPU. And my RAM is at like 12% utilization. I mean, there's hardly any resources at all on this beast of a system being used, and yet the frame rate is terrible. So there has to be something going on there. Again, I've done all the obvious Googling for it. I know for a fact the game is operating on the 3D cache cores that, like the special cores or whatever that this chip has. I know that it's operating on that because I can see it in process lasso. You know, I know that the other cores aren't parked and everything. OBS is using the other part of the chip, right? With the higher frequencies and stuff. I'm not that literate with computers when it comes to building them. So I'm reaching out, I guess, to you guys. If there's anything that is not entirely obvious by Googling, if there's anything that I've maybe overlooked or you think I might want to try to fix this problem, I welcome your feedback in the comments. I would love to get back to what that video was showing me before, because like that video I made, the experience playing this game was awesome. It was like, oh my goodness, this is great. I dinked around for some things. I was planning some things over here, planning some things over on this side, and it was all 120 FPS the entire time. And to be fair, if I go over here, it always is 100, and this is 120 right now. But as I get closer to town, it tanks hard. And I'm unsure of why that would be, even though I'm using like less than 10%. It is now 10%. 10% of my CPU is being used. It doesn't make any sense to me. It might just be the way the game is, and that's all there is to it. I will say that other games, performance has been great. Still is pretty good. So maybe it's just a workers and resources specific thing. But if there's anything you can think of please let me know in the comments. I would very much like to get to the bottom of this so that I can have that amazing experience that I just paid like $4,000 to have, okay? To make as much content for you as I can, as smoothly as I can, to have bigger and better projects for you all the time. I wanted a beast of a system that could just handle it all. And so far, it has done amazing, aside from the last 48 hours, which I've now booted this game up, and it's just not crazy at all. It's not good at all. So would love your feedback on that. Okay, timestamp people. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna break this down. We're gonna solve a couple of issues in the town today, but we are going to be getting signaling going for our train tracks, because that is going to help us significantly in moving product around in the intercity, and eventually it will also help us in getting things over here to Cernakova reliably. You can see Cernakova has its paved roads and stuff. It's kind of working at getting all that stuff done. We have the new houses and stuff that are going to come over into here. All these things have, the foundation work and stuff has kind of been laid in. So things are looking pretty good over here for now. The heating plant is done, as is the pumping station and the heat exchanger. That's pretty good too. All the underground work on that is done. I kind of rushed the heating just to make sure if anybody does move over here, we can supply that. But in order to get the coal and stuff for this place, I don't want to use trucks, of course. We're going to be using the aggregate unloaders and everything. So all this stuff has to be built as well. While that's happening, though, we're going to focus on our train network and trying to get trains moving through here just a little bit better, okay? So this is my crop train and stuff, and they buy steel periodically and whatever. We got all these different supplies. Two things I want to focus on: train distribution, and maybe we'll talk about helicopter construction, because we're doing okay on fuel as well. Fuel's doing pretty good, so we might talk about helicopter construction a little bit today too. So now that the tracks have been built, at least out this far, I think it's probably okay to get to work on this. There's a lot of extra tracks in here that need to be built, but that stuff gets built, well, it'll probably get built in this direction, because they can always go this way and then come back the other direction. So let's get rid of a lot of these little tiny points here, because they're extra, they're not needed. Here we go, and I've already started this segment, so I can't finish that, but it's fine. So to get the signaling going for the tracks, once we do this, we can then hook up the train distribution office to various different things. Train distribution office needs to have this source here as a drop-off point. So we're going to have unloading taking place here, all right? And we're going to have unloading for all sorts of stuff. Pretty much everything can be unloaded at this station, and then they can head back the other direction. But when they do that, they're going to be pulling into this track, okay? What we need to have happen is to have this track done, and then we're going to have to, we're going to be working on redoing at least this small segment here. And then after that, it looks like we're kind of good. Yeah, this is all concrete all the way up to there and all the way out to here too. Yep. So except for this is a wooden track, but we talked about that already. It doesn't need to be completed. It doesn't need to be upgraded. So this little section of track here is going to get upgraded, and then at this point, we're pretty much good on the track builders. So this train, when it comes from the border, it's going to eventually be on this track the whole time. And I don't know what happened between the last recording and this one, but updates to the game and stuff, probably. It's been a couple weeks since I played. This is fixed. The ground and stuff, it doesn't look terrible anymore. It doesn't look great, but it doesn't look terrible anymore. So that's been fixed. Not sure how that happened. I didn't do anything. Just nothing happened. All right. And then track builders going that way. Okay, so what we want to do is these two buildings here, they kind of conflict with each other, okay? You have to have signaling for this to work, but you don't want signaling for this to work. I've done most of the tracks that I think are kind of in place. We got a lot of the tracks out this way built to start getting resources out towards steel. And so that's what I want this thing to do, all right? There are 3 diesel locomotives here, and there are 17 wagons, including, it looks like 6 open cars, 7, 8, 9 open cars, 6 box cars, and 2 refrigeration cars. The refrigeration cars really don't have a whole lot to do, but they can eventually bring and drop it off over here, and then they'll just have this done. I'm trying to see Yeah, this isn't gotten done yet. We'll maybe shift that into a high priority here so we can get that done. Let's put the road crew on that and on that. We're going to start using that too. If we can get the rail distribution network to bring stuff to this point, then we don't have to worry about trucks coming over here, which is great. All right. So what we want to see are signals. Let's go to the trains. And I'm going to start with this main intersection because it's going to be a big pain in the ass. So the moment we place a signal down here, everything has to be signaled. You can't just do one little section. You kind of have to do the whole damn thing. And that's what we're going to do. What you want to see from signaling is you want to see a situation where your trains never stop in an intersection. That means you need distance between your intersections, okay? That's like rule number 1. Don't allow a train to stop inside an intersection. Second thing is that you have 2 different types of signals, right? You got the chain signals and the regular semaphores, okay? Or pre-signals, right? These chain signals will reference and pay attention to the signal ahead of them. Good way to think about this is a chain signal is going to check as to whether or not the train can reach the following signal completely before it allows a train to pass through it. So if I take and look at an intersection, you want chain signals going into the intersection and regular signals to go out of the intersection. So let's start with this one. We'll start over here, and I'm going to say there's a pretty good distance between this and the road, so I think this is probably fine. I don't think I need this. I can get rid of that. That's good. And then the chain signal can go right here. Okay? Now, to start here, because we are using track builders, we're not quite done with the track yet. I am going to use the mixed signals, and this is going to cause problems initially. All right? This is going to cause problems initially. It is not the final way of doing these tracks. But in order to allow the track builders to do their job very well, this is how I'm going to do this in the interim, okay? So we're going to place mixed chain signals on the sides over here. This is fine. I don't think this is a problem, although most likely in a permanent basis, the signaling would actually be back here. So why don't we do this instead? This is how the signaling will be on that side. Over here doesn't matter. There is this little intersection here, I suppose, which could say matters, but it doesn't really. We'll do this, and we'll do this to start, and then we'll have a secondary signal here and here, just to kind of cut this off for now. And we're leaving them as 2 ways, because again, I want the track builders to be able to do their thing. But at the moment, the only trains that are using any of this stuff is going to be the distribution office, and then that single train that goes to the border. That's kind of it. Now, this train that comes to the border, it's important that it be on the correct track. So what we're going to do is we're going to tell this track here, we're going to say on this track right here, that you are going to go in that direction. That makes this track a one-way track, okay? We're then going to just make this a two-way from here. Let's just line it up. And this is, again, this is not the final assortment of semaphores and stuff. This is not how we're doing the signals for good, okay? This is just for now. And I'm actually going to do it way back here instead. There we go. Get rid of that one. And then you are going to be a one-way. That is going to keep the border train is going to stick to this side because it's going to be allowed to go here. And that means all of these other trains that are heading this direction are now going to be able to stay on this track. When I do it that way, we should see that the only trains that come this direction are going to be trains that are going to go back this way. They're not going to pass through. At least from this side, they're not going to pass through unless they're on this track. And that probably sounds pretty confusing. Don't worry, it's because I said it wrong, and even I'm confused at that point. But the thing is, the finalized way of doing tracks here, the finalized way of doing signals, that's good in my head. The temporary one is kind of a toss-up. So we're going to put a signal here and here. We're going to allow these to be two-way so that the distribution office can currently go in multiple directions. And we're also going to do it here as well, just to kind of allow the track builders to do what they need to do as well. Go ahead and lock this side down like that. And then on this side over here, we're going to say that there is a semaphore on this side of the road. So we're going to go here, 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 and here on that side of the road. Okay. Now, eventually, I'm pretty sure these signals will probably end up a little bit closer. That does mean they're going to cross this road, but this isn't the main road. It's going to be this road. That's the main road, and I'm not going to block that road. All right, so on this side, a lot of these tracks aren't built yet, so putting signals in them doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So we're not going to bother with that yet. If I come down this way, this is all purple. When we get down to this direction here, I think it's probably okay to let the signals sort of be a bit more permanent in their nature. They're not in the really high traffic elements, at least not yet. But there is one part of this, and that's because we are still building these tracks out this way. So I think we are. We may not be. There's this track here that needs to be built, but it can be built from this side. And then this whole, this whole other side here needs to be built still. So we still need track builders to be able to get out here. So we're going to use, again, the chain mix signals. So we're going to say something like that, and like that, like that, and like that, and then, whoops, that, yep. And then on this side, it would be here, 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 and here. Okay, just to keep that locked down. And then on this side, we'll go here, here. That's fine. And then here and here. All right. As we come through this way, we're going to want signals for clears here. So we're going to say there and there on the signal clearing, and that's good. Okay. To explain signaling a little bit better, you have a lot of different colors here, right? The ideal situation is to have blue on all of your tracks and orange on all of your intersections. If you have other colors, it is because there is some other setup going on. Usually, that means there are multiple intersections in that same segment. So, for example, this is all locked down as a single intersection, but this here has a couple different ones. There's different, it's a different setup going on over here, okay? A little bit weird. Because we have this intersection here with these two tracks, but we also have this crossing. That's two different intersections in the same thing. You generally want to avoid that unless you know what you're doing. In this case, though, these are just for track builders only on this side, so I can do this, and that would create orange here, okay? Now, the only reason this remains purple is because it is also an intersection. So orange is intersections, right? And this is the part where we're going to start getting this happening, right? As soon as you start signaling, your track builders get super confused, and you have to start telling them to go through the red signals. So the reason why this is purple, if you're seeing purple on your own, is because it is an intersection that is right next to an intersection. So in order to differentiate them, the game is making orange, purple, orange, okay? This is also purple, means there's multiple intersections in here. Or it means that it's an intersection right next to another intersection, which in this case is the case because this is an intersection. So after this point, what we want to do all the way over here is we're going to just drop in some signals over here. 1, that's going to be blue, and then 2, and then that turns that orange, and then 3, and then 4. Now we have dedicated segments that have no intersections, and then there's another intersection. This is the ideal that you want to see. Orange, blue, orange, okay? Take a look at the green. Green is an intersection that's right next to another intersection. And see, signaling is starting to mess them up. I will get rid of this train. And now they should both be able to proceed so long as they aren't going to conflict with each other, and I don't believe they will. So let's just tell you to go. There you go. So we're going to go in and signal these now. So those two are in. I need to signal this side. Yep, that's good. This side is good. So basically this is only because I didn't signal this side yet. So do the same thing over here. I'm going to signal there and there. Now you get blue, orange. Perfect. This, because this is an intersection. So this will turn orange after I signal this side. So we're going to go in like that and like that and then like that and then like that. Okay, and it's not orange because it's an intersection still because of this. So we'll then take and go like this and then like this. And now this is orange and this is blue. We have an intersection next to another intersection. and it goes all the way this way. Now, it won't be another intersection once they actually build the tracks. So at this point, we would want to say something like, we could do something like this, where I make another semaphore, here and here. And that'll just demonstrate that this is now orange, okay? Again, the ideal is blue, orange, blue, orange. That's what you want. If you have purple or some other color, then you have a potential point of conflict unless you know exactly what you're doing. So in this case, there's a potential point of conflict in that there's an intersection here and it's coming off right after another intersection. I could stop that by adding signals here, but then I might have a situation where a train would end up stopping into this intersection, and I don't want that to happen. Since this is just for the track builders, and that's it, what I could also do is set theirs a little bit further back. So I could potentially take this road, maybe bring it back like this, and then what I could maybe do is take the signals and just bring them back like this. This is only for track builders, right? We're just aware of how this small segment works. All right, and then what you do is take a measurement tool here real quick. So the road is 99, so that's not 150 meters here. It's close, but it's not. But the thing is, any train that enters here is either going directly here or they are going into here, and there's only going to be one train doing that. So in this particular case, I don't believe we're going to have any conflicts. I probably should leave my signals over here anyway. Yeah, I could probably leave my signals here. But we'll go with a chain here instead. And then the mixed signal here, mixed signal here. And then slap this off like that. And again, this is not the permanent. This is temporary to allow the track builders to do their thing and to allow distribution to operate. That is the only reason that this is happening. This is not a signaling setup right now that is built for sustainability, long-term, etc. This is all going to change, okay? We're going to need signaling here and here, and also back in this side. We can put it back here, and then also here and here. All right, intersection. This is considered an intersection at the moment. We'll change that. Go here, here, and here. All right, here we go. And then we want another one here, or we don't, because this is just a crossing. We actually don't need this crossing anymore. But if I don't use this crossing, then I can't have trains coming out of here in the right direction. They need to be coming out of here. So this depot, right, for example, we might be able to come off the other side of this depot and bring it over here instead. At the moment, though, I'm just going to include this as a part of this intersection. This intersection, we're going to say, is going to be like this, with this one being only that direction. So keep that going, all right? And then I can bring that back also way back here instead. Now, you don't really need a signal next to the station because the stations kind of serves that anyway, somewhat. But I'm going to do it anyway just so I have that glowing visual representation, okay? We're going to take the semaphores. And again, we're just looking to break this off. And then over here, we'll say boom, boom, boom. I think this one's pointless. Yeah, we don't need that one. This purple one here is kind of a work in progress since it's not really accessible, right? They have to build this track on this side, and then once they build that, then they can get in here, unless I connect this side up. So the only way that's going to be built at all is if I connect this track up. So we'll see about that later. We're going to go in and put in a signal here, here, and here for now, with this side being like that. Okay? And then on this side, we'll just say here and here. This is still purple, and it's still purple because this is an intersection, and so is this. So we're just going to have to go through all these different things, right? And you kind of create... yeah, that one's good. And then it's going to be here and here. And then on this side, it'd be here and here, along with not there. This whole thing needs to be treated as one big junction here. So we're going to go like this and like that and like that. And then this whole thing is one intersection. This is technically an intersection, right? So we need another signal there as well as here. And we'll go with here. That's fine. I don't think that's needed. Never mind. We got those two. And then over here, there's an intersection somewhere. Yep. So we'll say there and there on the clear. There you go. So let's take a look at this over here. Still purple. Okay, so that's because this is an intersection. So let's find where's that intersecting. Well, it's over here. It's all the way down this way. So once again, we go boom, 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 and close it up like that. Now we're going to do mixed signals here because it's an intersection. So we want it to go chain into that intersection. And now we've got blue, orange, blue all the way out, orange, blues everywhere, orange. And then because there's two oranges, this intersection is going to be purple since it's an intersection next to an intersection. I think you get it by now. But this is temporary. This fuel thing is temporary. And this track is a one-way track that merges in. So we're not going to have any conflicts here. You're still going to see purple, but we're not going to have any conflicts here. Because these, eventually anyway, these tracks are all one direction. And then eventually merges onto here. So you shouldn't see trains ever going... you shouldn't see trains ever coming from this side, this direction, on this track. Okay, that should never happen. Okay, so is there anything else that needs to be done? This is purple, so take a quick look at purple here. This is going to be a crossing here. Yep, so we want a mixed signal like that. Here we go, and then also on this side like so. That takes care of that part. This part's still purple, so we're going to go in and we'll say, yeah, we'll just do a regular signal there. And then for now, I don't think it matters, but we'll go ahead and do something like that. That makes this blue. Okay. Got purple here. The intersection all the way out this way. They haven't finished building this part yet, so I'm kind of don't care about that. Just get rid of that for a second, and then I think just for the sake of doing so, we're going to place two signals here just so I can turn that into an orange segment and a blue segment. So this purple one here just going to stand by until the bridges are done building. Once the bridges are done building, just have this for a second, and then as we come out this way, we're going to have signals going again. I cannot stress this enough because I know I'm going to get tons of comments about this. This is temporary. It's not the permanent way of doing things. I just want to continue to reiterate that because there's going to be lots of people in the comments that'll say this system sucks. You're going to have so many. I know there is. When I start adding more trains, when I have almost no trains running, it'll be fine. But yeah, with trains, lots of other trains running, I know it's not going to be a good setup. That's why it's temporary. All right, so orange, blue, orange, blue, orange, blue. What we're looking for pretty much everywhere. If there's purple, it's because we know why. And at this point, I know why because it's back here. So this part is a potential conflict point. If I make a signal here, I don't want to do that. I need to keep these things apart. So this intersection is the same intersection as this. They're treated equally. So if a train bypasses this part and enters this side, it's going to be allowed to keep going entirely to get out of the way. They're not going to stop in here, right? Now, this is considered an intersection. That seems pretty obvious. So we'll go ahead and put this in like... I was kind of hoping there'd be more room for the signal on this. For now, I'm going to do that. But I might change that around. It's a dirt road anyway. I can probably change it. But so we got these signals there. And then I just need to go... Yeah, these aren't even built yet. So like getting signals on things that aren't built yet is kind of meh. I'm going to leave that alone. And there's nothing really using that side anyway. And so we pretty much have signaling at least marked in. It's not finalized. Lots of changes to make to that system, but it's at least marked in. Now building track gets more annoying. Because if there's a train in there, right, it has no way to get out. But here's the thing about track builders. They will despawn. If they're ever in the way, they'll despawn. If they're on the way back, they'll despawn. So I can do my logistics trains right now. I can get my distribution going because they're signaling. And if the distribution train ever conflicts or ever has a conflict with the track builders, the track builder will despawn and allow that train to continue on. So we have this as a universal unloading point. I like it. Next, we need to connect some other things. So I'm going to connect bricks over here, and it's signaled over here, so we should be able to see them get through here. I'm going to connect bricks, and I'm going to say that I want you to load bricks, and you can do so of like, 10%. It's fine. As soon as I do that, I believe anyway, as soon as I do that, we should see a train leave to come and get it. I believe so anyway. Well, no, not really, because we're still full of bricks over here, right? Yeah, we're full of bricks over here. So that's not going to happen yet. We have the panels over here, right? Prefab panels over here. Same thing, do 10%. And then that takes care of bricks and prefabs. For steel, we're going to connect this office all the way over to steel, and then they'll come over there, they'll grab it and bring it back. Eventually, we'll have another train distribution office starting here, and then they'll be able to just go get it and bring it all the way over there. So we'll have that going. And then the other thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we are using this as a loading point as well for some things like food, for example. So we're going to say that we want you to load. Let's go 30% here. And that's all this means is that you won't load beyond this point. So the distribution office is not going to leave to come get this until the storage within this is greater than 30%. I'm going to go 20%. We want clothes, food, electronics, alcohol, meat. I think that's everything that we want for this. Yeah. All right. So for that stuff, which is all connected to this anyway, we want you delivering that over here. And we just need to get these two things hooked up. But we're going to select that cargo area, and we're going to tell you to unload meat, clothes, electronics, not alcohol. You're going to have food. Yeah, I don't know about alcohol. I might put an alcohol storage here so it can be distributed with the trucks. I don't think I have any storage set up for alcohol to be distributed. I thought about taking this rail, coming around this way, and hooking up like a warehouse right here that could be tapped into there, but I just don't think it's worth it. There's a big giant hill here, and I kind of want to use it for something else. So maybe alcohol isn't going to be something that we load. I'll untick that. Okay, so everything is kind of set to work, but you have to have things calling it. So we have the sources, we have the what we're loading, we have what we're unloading, we have the locations of where we're going to get stuff that we can go ahead and unload. Everything is just universally selected here as an unload point. What I guess I could do is maybe isolate that down a little bit, do something like this, and then we could say other things like crops and all that, and then just tell it to go to the border and get them, but I'm gonna refrain from doing that for now. So this is the unload, and then this is the load. So in order for that to actually spring to life, something has to be demanding a product, and that means that this needs to be done so that we can get the meat stored over there, and this needs to be done so that this stuff can receive clothes, food, electronics, etc. But once it's set up and done, we won't need the vehicles in this office to do it anymore because the trains will just do it, which is going to be pretty nice. So while they're getting on that, building that stuff, I want to talk about another thing. We have mixed waste going into this dump with a claw, and that's fine. But I've talked with a couple people on the Workers and Resources Discord, and I even had somebody in the comment section on a previous video mention this. And it's been kind of stated, right, that trains with waste, they're not going to load and unload quickly if they're using cargo train stations. That's a very slow process. It's faster if they use this directly, the dump with the claw. In other words, I want the train to actually pull into here, not to stop here for waste. I didn't think it'd be a difference, but it kind of makes sense that it's a difference. And again, this is going to happen a lot. You're going to see this all the time because, again, trains are going to be in each other's way. You're going to see it all the time. Okay? Just let them go, man. Let them go through. So what I need to do over here is I need to get the train to actually get into here. There's a couple of different options. I can either tap into that side and go this way, or I can tap into this side, go around, and go this way. It's actually less steel to go from this side over. than it is to go from this side, because this side has to stay a bridge over top of all these factory connections to get onto this side. Where this bridge, it just needs to get over this set of tracks, and then it can wrap around. So what we're going to do here, because I don't think we're going to be able to do this fast enough unless I, at least fast enough to make it functional. It needs to be faster. Oh, this is really not liking me, is it? 1, 2, 3. All right, so the bridge will wrap around and we'll stop about here, it looks like. And then we'll have this track head. Really? What is going on with this? All right, new plan. Make the rail first. That. Probably too far. That. And then you go there. Okay. So this will have a rail that heads straight this direction, and then it will wrap around and come over about like this. And we want to merge these intersections so that they aren't, so that they aren't different. So I'm going to need to take my signals and make a small adjustment here on this side, which really doesn't do a whole lot, but I just had them lined up. That's going to go there. What this means is if a train wants to drop off waste, it will need to be on this side of the track, and then it will head this direction, and then it will come into here. Then it will need to exit the same way it came in. So we're going to need another track. Going to go and do this. Yep. Like this. And then what we're going to do is we'll make sure that this track, going to get rid of that signal. This track needs to go about like that will work. But then right after that, we need to have this head this direction, right? Like that. And that gets them to come out and head the other direction. No, you need to be all the way over, don't you? Yeah, you need to be all the way over. So bring that back. And then you are going to go like this. And yep, that's gonna be a thing right there. That'll work. So we now have a dedicated train track that comes in and drops off waste. Train does it and then it leaves. If there's another train coming in with waste in this area, which I don't believe it'll happen at the same time, but it could feasibly do it, there's a long stretch here for it to stop and wait, because we will have signals there. Stop that from happening, right? And then we can place a signal probably on the bridge itself, lock that in, and now this purple area just needs to be re-signaled. So this one here is where the train will stop if they're waiting. So that'll be a chain signal. It's only going to go one direction. Although while we're building the tracks, we need to be able to go both directions. And then that's going to be where you stop. So this whole thing is part of the intersection. And then we will say that this signal goes here, here, and here. So you disappear. And then on this side, it'll be here and here with this thing going away. Apparently I can't. Can't they get rid of you? Oh, you're partially built. Right? No, you can't be partially built. I just laid you in. You can't be partially built. Surely you jest. There we go. And then like so. Okay? So there we go. Intersection done. All the signaling and stuff temporarily is in place. And then so this should now operate as long as there is a supply, like there's a supply somewhere and there's a demand for that supply somewhere. Okay? And then this is hooked up now for waste, provided, of course, we build that track. Yeah? Okay, so now that we got signaling kind of somewhat in place, at least for the distribution office to start working, I wanted to also talk about another way of moving things around and getting things built, and that's helicopter construction offices. Because that was a big thing that I wanted to get done in the last series, and I couldn't do it very well, just because I wasn't making enough fuel. But guess what? Definitely making enough fuel now. So I think it'd be really nice to start getting helicopter construction offices. I've been going back and forth with myself and where I want to do this, and I think I want to have two different ones, and they don't necessarily need to be right next to each other. In the stream series, I had it all kind of one big construction zone. The helicopters don't need to be like that. They need to be close to their fuel source. That's kind of it. So I'm thinking instead of a parking lot here, we put in a helicopter construction office right here. Now, one problem with that is that it's going to have to travel a little bit to get to all of its resources. And I'm not sure that's necessary. Kind of a trade-off here. Like, am I worried about the helicopters having to lift off and then travel someplace to get their stuff and then head over where they need to go? Or is the resources I'm going to save by having them located closer to this stuff going to offset the cost of piping fuel to the helicopters? Alternatively, I could just have the trucks bring fuel to the helicopter construction offices, but piping it is way cleaner and doesn't require extra wear and tear on my trucks. So I kind of want to pipe it, and I don't think the extra distance, like for example, if I put the helicopter construction office, if I located it, let's say like right here, it's pretty noisy for these guys, but I guess it's probably not that big of a deal. If I located it maybe like right here, for example, that's unfeasible to pipe fuel to it. So it would have to be, you know, another connection for my fuel rats. If I did it over here on this side, it'd be closer to resources, but again, it's a long way to pipe it. I'm not going to do it here because that's where my chemicals are going to go. And in this area here could work. And maybe this is an okay medium, is placing it like maybe right here. But I was thinking about putting parking lots here, so people could, you know, walk to work and everything. There's gonna be a parking lot there. There's gonna be some parking lots right here. Parking lots would be right in this area, so they can walk in here. So I got to figure out kind of where my parking lots are gonna be before I really get serious about that. But over in this area was an okay spot. I was thinking about making a helicopter construction office, and I can have one here and then have another one located somewhere else. I don't think it's that big of a deal. So we're gonna go in and not think about it that much and do a helicopter construction office. And I think we could probably put it right about here would be okay, as long as I can get more helicopters connected to it. If I place this here, I would then need to go in here and put a heliport ×3. And if I did something like, you know, it's going to need to be, it's the infrastructure, huh? Need flat terrain. Let's try to flatten this out and see if it works. Okay, so that will allow me to connect this, which is pretty good. So if I went something like this, it doesn't look all that great though, does it? I would rather have it be over here next to it. Yeah, like back in like this. I would much rather this be the case. Yeah, this is probably better. We'll do something like this. Okay. So there's my helicopters. And so helicopter construction office can hold a lot of things, and a lot of different helicopters could be there. So this will be the first location for it. We could then go into our piping connections, and you know, we can redirect some of the fuel that's coming out from various different sources that it'll be, and drop it into here. Or I could put an extra tank here and just have it feed into an extra tank, which wouldn't be half bad an idea. So I think that's probably the idea I'm going to go with. Fuel's already coming out of here into this tank. So I have to have another tank. Maybe right here would be okay. And that could be where it comes out for the helicopters, let's say. So maybe I put this maybe right next to the helicopters like this. Would you allow me to do this? No? Like this? Yeah. But now the problem with that is I'm going to block that extra port, and I don't want to block that extra port. So I most likely we need it here, and it needs to be an above ground connection to work. So it's going to need it to be maybe the road that way. Do the road that way. Not so bad. Do something like this. All right, and then the road will just be gravel coming through here. Like that. And then this gets a road connection that I forgot to reconnect. Same thing with that and this. That will connect with a dirt road from right there. With that done, we'll then have the pipes go underground, and this side will go into here. Now, probably a good idea to have this sort of sent around as well. So I could have the fuel, for example, tap into here and keep going. We're going to be making a lot more fuel. So the idea here, let's just break this down, right? The idea is that fuel will go here and here simultaneously. The fuel from here gets split to go to the helicopter construction office and gets forwarded to this tank. If this tank is full, then this one just accumulates. This one is also receiving it and sending it to this tank, and so it could accumulate here. We could then have a pipe that sends it out to the trains there to be reconnected, and that can either come from here or there. It gives me more connections that I can send wherever I need to send it. And so I like this idea because I don't need an extra pump to do this. Because I was like worried about like how am I going to get an extra pump and also expand fuel storage. I don't need an extra pump with this. So this side, for example, would then go underneath and connect to there. Also come this way and connect here. That gives me a system where fuel is coming out of both of these connections, goes into here, through here, and then into here. It also goes here, and then in and into here. So both of these tanks feed this. I think I just explained that, but in case it was confusing, doing it again, there's that. But this one will feed this side, and then this one will also feed that side, as you can see, right? So there you go. We now have more fuel storage, and the trains and the helicopters have their own separate storage tanks that both feed into here. All right, I think I pretty much covered that. Anyway, helicopter construction office is not just the whole picture though, because we also need to connect the resources for the helicopter construction office. So come over here, and these heliport cargo platforms are what we're going to use. We can get one of these, and I think we'll probably go, yeah, connected to this road is fine. So we'll have you connect here, let's say. That will connect prefab panels to the helicopters. Okay. Now we need bricks connected. Come on over here, and we'll do another cargo platform, and bricks will be right here. And what we're gonna do, hopefully there's a spot for this. Yep, right there. So we're gonna have you connect like this. Oh, yep. Come on, infrastructure, yada yada. Come on, it's gotta work. Come on now. Come on now. Thank you. Just give it a little snake. It'll work. So helicopters will get bricks. Helicopters will get prefabs. And then for wood, that part is a little bit more confusing because this place is kind of already crowded, okay? I think for the boards, we're going to have to source it somewhere else because we're already going to be providing some just flatline wood, right? We're going to be providing wood to the chemicals and everything. We could have another sawmill, which we could potentially provide for that. And then we could maybe have a truck that would just move it from this storage over to another storage where the helicopters could pick it up. I haven't thought about that yet. So, but yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do for the wood, for the boards, but maybe boards just don't get delivered by helicopters. To be honest, it's a really low cost resource that maybe isn't worthy of a helicopter delivering it. I don't know. And then steel, of course, which is all the way over here. And I think we'll probably want to have a separate storage for steel so that the helicopters can get the steel. We'll have trains bringing it into town anyway. Trains could then also bring it to a separate storage here. And that way, the helicopters don't have to go all the way over there just to potentially have to come all the way back. All right, so we kind of want to make this as convenient as possible for the things that are using the most fuel. And eventually, trains won't use... All right, where is it? Eventually, trains won't use fuel like this. So you're on your way back. You should just go. There we go. And they're really hitting these tracks pretty hard. I don't know if I need these tracks built yet, though. That's the thing. Like, I think these tracks could probably... Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, I'll allow you to build this one, but I think I'm going to stop you here. And then I don't think we're going to need... Like, these can be built. Yeah, these ones can be built because they're for passenger trains, but I don't think anything else needs to be built here. Bypass line's already there. I think I could probably put a stopper on most of this. One track into steel is probably good for now. So let's go ahead and put a stop on that one and that one. And this, you actually don't need that one. Let's just retrace our steps here real quick. Go like that. And like that. And that one's already being built. Yep. You all the way. Yeah, so I think we'll probably put a stopper on this track, maybe from here. Yeah, so they won't build that side. And then on this side, we definitely don't need this built, so that's already discontinued. Good. All right. So we'll let them build those two. And that's kind of all I wanted to cover today. I just wanted to, check in with you guys and say hi. It's been a few days. I know it's a travesty to go a few days without a video. But yeah, I mean, I'm playing what I love. I'm playing the games that I love. And I love more than just one game. So that's just the way it's going to be. Oh, trains. Sorry. They also need access to gravel, too. So I have the asphalt plant here, right? And then the concrete access. These helipads are there for the construction offices. Right? That's the entire reason for those helipads. But gravel's not hooked up to it. So we're going to use that. We're going to use this area right here for that purpose. So just go into the heliport. And you need a lot of this stuff, unfortunately. It's going to be a whole lot of it. So we're going to say about like this would be good. Probably right here is okay. So we'll go about like that. And then the helicopters will pick up gravel here at these 3 ports here. So lots of asphalt. They don't have to wait for each other, hopefully, because there's 3 of them. Gravel, same thing. Concrete, same thing. And then prefab panels gets loaded there. Bricks gets loaded there. You got it. We went through it already. I don't need to recover it. So I think that's going to be it for this video. Maybe not as much progress as some of you were hoping for, but just keep in mind, I don't get to play quite as often as I was before. And the only reason you were having daily videos before was because I had a huge backlog, and that backlog is gone. All right. So I'm going to kick them out as fast as I can. I am not quitting. I fully intend on getting this to 100,000 people, right? We've grown population while I've been doing this. Everything seems pretty stable so far. Money's going up. I don't think I'm in debt anymore. It's been a little while. Hang on. I'm not in any debt. Fuel supplies very firm, very good. And I haven't been exporting any fuel. So, because I don't think I have been. Let's take a look at finances really quick. No fuel. Bitumen, yes, but not fuel. So that's good. Last month, no fuel export. So if I wanted to start exporting fuel, I totally could and make even more money. But for now, I'm going to save it because I'd like to get helicopter construction offices going. And that, of course, requires us to buy helicopters. I have these 2 helipads right here ready to go to purchase any used helicopters that may be available, like this one. Let's pause it. This is the Mi-10 Cargo. It's got 45% wear and tear, though. We'd have to fix it, which means I'm probably going to need to bring in aluminum. But is that a good discount? 45% wear and tear at $181. A brand new one would cost me $241. So I think that's a pretty good discount, wouldn't you? That's the Mi-10 Cargo. Hang on now. That's the one I want is the Cargo. This is the Cargo. Yep. So I could buy this used one here, and I'll make this like like a white colored one, green colored. Red. I like how there's a lot of different colors. I'm going to go with this white one here. I'm going to buy that used one. That used helicopter is going to come from whatever border it just got bought from. It might be that little speck right there. No, that's a speck on my monitor. You can't see that. Anyway, it's going to come over here. It's going to land, and then this repair shop will start fixing it, right? As long as it has enough resources. And at the moment, I haven't been importing aluminum, so I need to import aluminum. So I'm going to have to go in and I'm going to have to say, okay, tell you what, why don't we go to the repair vehicle? Is it you? Yes. This one here, I want to make sure we are unloading aluminum into it. It's the only one where we unload aluminum. So it should be the only place of a destination wise where we do that. Then I need to go to the border. I don't know if we have the border on this list. It doesn't look like we do. Customs house. No there. So we're going to come over here and we're going to add customs house, and we are going to say that we want to load aluminum from the customs house. All right. We should see these guys spring to life. There they are. Enter into the wonderful traffic system. You should not be stopping. Oh, that's incorrect. That's wrong. This is correct. Oh, okay. There we go. Yep. Got to double check this stuff sometimes. Yeah, that looks good. All right, so they're going to go get aluminum and bring it over there. And once that happens, we'll have this vehicle start to get repaired. And I'm going to say that I want to repair this. Let's say under 10%, like greater than 10%. I want to bring this thing and make it really, really good. So that's our first construction office helicopter right there, okay? And then we can, we'll keep an eye out for other helicopters we could use for that. We can always use maybe some of these sky cranes. They're okay. They don't have quite as much resources, but they are also, they're dollars. I'm not really using that for very much. So it's possible that I could just use these sky cranes for some construction stuff too, right? So maybe we'll get one of these. Not all my helicopters have to be the same thing. So why don't we grab a sky crane? It's 52% though. I don't know if that's worth it. 127. Yeah, like, I don't know if that's as good of a deal. I think I can get a better deal there. So I'll wait on that. But yeah, anyway. So helicopter construction office, we're going to get started working on that. And once that's done, I mean, if we can get steel operational, helicopters are going to help us build steel. If we can get steel operational, we're going to see, I think, some pretty good progress in building all sorts of things. Once you get helicopter construction office, we're like really moving, you start seeing things build really quickly. Okay. So I hope this video finds you well. Thank you so much for sticking with me. It's not daily, but it'll come out as soon as I can. Okay. In the meantime, I'm not going to stop playing Baldur's Gate 3 because it's like, it is super fun to do. You haven't checked it out yet? I invite you to do so. Might not be your cup of tea. I get it. It's off genre for what you're used to. And it's like everybody and their mother's playing it right now. But there's like 17,000 possible endings to that game. So I guarantee you our playthrough is not the same as someone else's. Okay. Anyway, take care. We'll see you. Bye-bye.